Okay. Now that we got that done. Yeah, have a good night, Mr. Walks. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, let's react to the Azur Promilia stuff. So this is a new game by some of the creators. This is half of them by Azur Lane, which is one of the gacha games I play. Melusine with the limit broken, perhaps. Let me know afterwards. Let me watch this trailer first. So yeah, I think the gameplay for this new game dropped a couple days ago. I know a lot of other people, a lot of other Genshin content creators or Hoyoverse content creators have already reacted to it. So chat wanted me to react to it too. And yeah, let's take a look at this. You're reactionary now? I mean, that's kind of the meta of content creation these days. So here we go. Hopefully the sound is okay.
時間がこの青にあるすべてを寄せ合わせ、そして消化させた。長い長い年月を経て、私たちは寄りつく工作、進化、お互いを感じられる
This kind
そ
of
の日
reminds
か
me
ら
of underwater fontaine gameplay, actually.
始まった。
I'll get to your question after this, Ken. So keep that in mind.
やっほーみんな。ウルと一緒に帰ってきたよ。カク、ほら、これが依頼された分。あとこっちは。お姉ちゃんってば、ここでは走らないようにって言ったのに。ウル、早く逃げよう。さあ、寄ってらっしゃい。ごめんごめん、急いでるの。なんとか間に合ったわ。花火大会やったー。一つの命が絶えたことに迷いを感じた時期もありました。シャーマンとしての責務が命の存続する意味をだんだんと分からせてくれたんです。さまざまな出会い、名残惜しい別れ、私たちはここまで続けてこられたんです。これからよろしくね、相棒。信用上、翼を広げ、進め。さあ、行きますよ。旅が続く限り、あなたと一緒に。
It's a flying whale.
渡りについていけない幼鳥に淘汰されてしまう。これ、空の法則。こんなところで諦められない。今、この瞬間、ここにいます。怖がっているところを見せてはいけない。その気持ちを決して忘れないでね。そして万物を流動させて。
Art style reminds you of those old ass MMOs. Yeah, like I don't know if Ragnarok would count, but something like that. So, nice trailer. Alright, good night, Omni stuff. Take care, man. Have a good one. Needs more mommies. There were some, so there's potential for them. But yeah, most of the characters were not exactly mommy characters. Art was done by Dishwasher. Specifically, which part, though? I mean, that doesn't surprise me. They've gotten Dishwasher on to do a lot of art for Azur Lane, so. Because, like, these are all 3D, either in-game or CGI. Unless you're talking about, like, separate examples of, like, 2D art that they commissioned, they hired Dishwasher to do. They just talked about being involved in the production. Okay. Also, Walt Flocka, thanks for the 46-month resub. Just off the trailer itself, I will say it looks great. It looks like this game's been in the oven for quite a while. This reminds me like quality wise, like production quality wise, it reminds me a lot of Project Mugen, where like there's not really anything that I can say about it, like anything negative that I can say about it so far. If anything, all I'll say is that the graphics and the art style seems very simple, but I don't mean that in a bad way. Not only that, but let me mute the video real quick as so that I can still talk while you see shit roll in the background. It reminds me a ton of Genshin. I mean, obviously, people call this are already calling this a Genshin clone, which, to be fair, I'd call it a Genshin clone too, because obviously it is. But like the environments that we see here, they really, like, for a second I was like taken back to like what, when did Genshin come out again? Like October of 2020, when like we all went through Mondstadt for the first time. Like the more foresty Mondstadt-like environments. It really reminds me of that. And a part of me wants to say that that was an intentional design choice, all the foresty areas here. Where it's like, oh yeah, this should remind... Like, doesn't this game remind you of something? Like, doesn't this game remind you of another game? Right. All the forest areas, you see the mountains in the background, kind of like, you know, how Dragon Spine does it as well. Like, I think the environmental aesthetic, the environmental look and vibe that this game has so far is very similar to Genshin's. And personally, I like that. Even if that makes a lot of people be like, you know, oh, this is just a Genshin clone. I mean, again, I don't use the phrase Genshin clone as an insult. I actually use that as a compliment because, you know, Genshin itself has such high production value that if I'm going to call you a Genshin clone, I kind of expect at least a similar level of production value out of your game as well. So, for me personally, from like a vibe and aesthetics point of view, this game's already off to a great start. That, and again, my previous comments earlier saying that clearly this game looks like it's been in production for quite a bit. So, yeah. Yeah, Yuri mating. I mean, there are guys in this universe. I mean, we saw one earlier. He was like the blacksmith dude or whatever. Yeah, this dude right here. But to add to that point, I believe the devs already came out and said that, oh yeah, all your playable characters are just gonna be waifus. So, no playable guys. We know guys, like, exist in this world. So that's how they, you know, would reproduce. But, yeah, no playable guys, I think they said. You do like some gender variety? Yeah, same here. But, you know, these are the same dudes who are half the production team behind, or the development studio behind Azur Lane. So it's like, yeah. I know where they're coming from, obviously. This looks absolutely dog shit. Same for Genshin. Thanks, bro. We didn't need your dog shit opinion either. You've been seeing that blacksmith on your timeline getting thirsted on? I wonder why. I wonder why. Fishing? Oh, I don't mind taking bait. That gives me an excuse to roast the fuck out of them. Imagine hinging your entire gameplay experience on how good a game looks. Like, I get it. We live in a generation where you need constant visual stimuli because you have no brain behind your eyes, but, you know. I don't judge. You like what you like. But yeah, so far I'm liking what I'm seeing. So, that was just the trailer. Now we get to take a look at the 15-minute gameplay footage here. So, let's take a look.
最初 是海洋。
Oh, is this just the is the first couple minutes of this just the trailer but in Chinese? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. So we can just skip the initial trailer and start with the gameplay here. So already huge improvement over over Genshin right away. Because obviously you have mounts, which is something that, you know, a lot of people ask for in Genshin. Personally, just on a side tangent here, I don't think Genshin needs mounts, but it'd be cool if they added them eventually. But I don't think they ever will because Genshin was clearly not designed with like mounts in mind. So the fact that this game immediately with this gameplay footage here, actually let me mute my second PC here. There we go. Sorry about that. The fact that the demo gameplay here starts with you flying a dragon or whatever the hell this is, that's a huge dub. Yeah, I agree with you guys in Twitch chat. This is a huge dub. Oh, I just realized that I don't even have my Twitch chat on screen with me. Let's see. Where's my... Oh, an alert box. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. Forgot to enable chat for this React segment. But yeah, so this is already a very good sign because if they're giving you demo gameplay with mounts in it, that means that they've clearly designed this game to be to be traversed with mounts, which means that this game will at least start, or at least they have planned a huge region for this game. So yeah, the starting areas that this game will come out with, I would imagine, or at least they should be very big. Maybe this is like more endgame footage, because I suppose there are a couple caveats here in relation to like mounts, because like when exactly will you like acquire mounts in this game, right? How far in do you have to play the game to finally be able to access mounts? Like, do they give you like mounts right away, or like do you have to play for a decent while before you can get them? Like, how fast do you get them? Like, I don't expect them to give you like flying mounts like immediately right as you join the game. I feel like they'll start you off. They're more likely to not start you off with like, you know, like horses or something, right? Like, I don't know, rideable boars or some shit. I don't know, like what they would give you as like a entry level mount or something. But yeah, like even like regardless of how long it takes for you to get a mount, the fact that they even exist, especially a flying one, is like that makes a statement, right? It's a goddamn statement and a half, and I like that. I like that. The Manju devs are like coming out swinging, for real, for real. People love dragons, and if you can mount them, that's sugar on top of the desert. I mean, it doesn't have to be just dragons. Any flying mount is amazing, right? Cause yeah, like, like you don't even have to be a gamer to like understand that, you know, watching somebody, or you know, having the POV of somebody riding a flying motherfucker through the sky over some beautiful scenery is pretty fucking magical, right? So yeah, whether it's dragons or like, you know, whatever, right? Whatever monsters or whatever animals or creatures they have in this game, Pokemon ripoffs or whatever. Yeah, whatever they are. Yeah. Just yeah, nobody dislikes just the experience of being able to fly through a random ass world and just take in the sights, yeah. So it'll also be really easy to sell mounts to people. Yeah, exactly. Knowing Manju. Money, money, money. But yeah. So great start to the demo trailer. Just immediately, just you pop in, first thing you see, you're riding a mount, or you're riding especially a flying mount. So that's an amazing vibe check here. Well, vibe check? Is that the proper way to use that phrase? I don't know. I'm too old. I'm a boomer. I like this girl. Dark hair, she's probably a tsundere, if I were to imagine, or if I were to guess. I noticed that there are you have 3 characters in a party. So it's kind of like what PGR, kind of like Ether Gazer.
拜托你了。
I assume this is just like random exploration bullshit. This must be like what Pokemon capturing stuff. The actual combat.
剑芒已至，拉开帷幕，预备。
So it seems like they're going with the PGR style of open world, not open world, but action RPG, where you control one character at a time, but and you only have one character out at once, but you can switch between them. Let me go back real quick, because I think this girl used some sort of skill or whatever, where she persisted on field. What was that? Yeah, she switches here, yeah. And you see both characters on screen for a second. So I assume the black-haired girl must have used some sort of skill where it switches her out for a second for another character, but she stays on field for a little bit longer to deal a little bit more damage before disappearing. Yeah, and then she goes after and now that she's off screen, she goes away.
热身结束，优势在我。情况了解，预备，交给我。风雨
I assume this is her ultimate.
起舞吧。顺利解决了
Good，finish.
感到高兴吗？剑术的修炼是没有止境的。不好意思，我收下。
Actually, I do remember seeing one thing about this specifically. What was this? Oh, not that one. Right before when she acquires like a new pet here. This reminds me of the what were they called in Azur Lane? The Meowficers? Basically the cat officers in Azur Lane. Because the stats here have the exact same status symbols as the cat officers do in Azur Lane. So perhaps there's something similar? Like there's a similar system in place? Perhaps? Not a lot of you guys play Azur Lane, so I don't expect you guys to know this. But for those of you watching who happen to play Azur Lane and you guys know what I'm talking about, yeah, this reminds me of the cat officer or the Meowficer, like the talent like diagram or how their skills and their talents look basically. That system was annoying. To be fair, you don't need to engage in it at all if you don't want to. It is annoying. I will say that I will agree with you there, but it wasn't necessary. If you didn't want to deal with it, you don't have to. Okay. But yeah, it does remind me of that. So I assume these pets are gonna follow a similar system of like when you obtain a new pet or whatever, like they'll spawn or they'll come with like their own set of like unique stats or like randomly generated stats or whatever. But anyways, moving on. Don't remind you of the Meowficer system? Yeah, I get it. It was annoying. But hopefully, if this game follows a similar system, it's not as annoying.
剑术的修炼是没有止境的。不好意思，我收下。想听听我的经历，那可能要花点时间哦。
So let me pause on this. This menu UI reminds me a lot of Arknight's Enfield. Because Arknight's Enfield also does this same thing. Where when you tab through different characters, and then you click on different buttons on a specific character, right, to see like their skills, their talents, or whatever. Basically see the different parts of their kit, maybe their weapon that they're using. They like strike different poses. I believe Arknight's Enfield does the exact same thing, right? From what gameplay I've seen. Yeah, Z3 as well. I like this evolution because in Genshin... Actually, no, technically Genshin does the same thing too, but it's not like fancy or anything, right? Because the characters in Genshin do strike different poses depending on, like, when you click on their weapon, for example, right? Like, they have different poses holding their weapons. They strike a different pose when you take a look at their, like, talents or whatever. And then when you pull up their artifacts, they all have that same pose where they, like, put their hands together like they're praying or something. So technically Genshin was already did that, but obviously their animations are like pretty simple. So I'm glad that games are putting more flourish into that aspect where it's like, yeah, looking through your characters now isn't as boring because your character's actually doing shit, striking different poses and whatnot, rather than just like the stock animations from like Genshin, for example. So yeah, I like it. I like the general, like for this narrow aspect of gacha games. It seems like that open world Chinese gacha games are taking with when like when you're just looking at a character in inventory or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's nice that they're adding a lot of detail to this part.
是想了解我，还是哈库因家呢？
Girl on screen. This girl, yeah, she reminds you of Yuka, right? Yeah, because Yuka is one of your default characters in Blue Archive. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, but I didn't want to bring up Blue Archive because obviously that's a different game. But yeah, she's she's basically a Yuka clone. I expect to see a lot of memes comparing those two. Hey guys, look, it's Filion. Anybody show Filion this character? This girl looks cute. Or this girl looks cool. Sorry. Freudian slip. This girl's cute. Hey, look, guys. It's Shinano. They put Shinano from Azur Lane into this game. Devs sure do love Shinano, huh? Another small, very small kung fu girl. And then our token Japanese schoolgirl with the katana character. Do a flip! Eat a water bug. So the pet system here. Lots of cute pets here. This sort of reminds me of Wuthering Waves is what the ecosystem I think it was on Wuthering Waves. I don't obviously I don't know if they're gonna function the same, but it kind of reminds me of that, right? Where every character in Wuthering Waves can equip like echoes or whatever they're called. 10 out of 10 for jiggle physics. Oh yeah, you know for a fact they're gonna have jiggle physics in there. This is Manju. Have you seen Azur Lane? Who's that Pokemon? It's Pal World, boys, pretty much. Obviously, this game was in development for far longer than we ever knew about Pal World, but still. People are always gonna make the comparisons. And on the subject of like people making comparisons between this and like Pokemon, obviously, and Pal World more recently, I just want to make it clear. I've said this before, but I'll say it again because we have a new game here. Personally, I am not against like games like copying like core ideas from each other. Like, yeah, obviously we're gonna get memes about people comparing, or people are gonna make memes comparing, Azure Promilia to Pal World to Pokemon, whatever the fuck you want to compare it to. But just for the record, I'll make memes about it too because they're funny. But at the end of the day, I don't actually care that much about, oh, these games are copying, this game's copying, Pal World or Pokemon or whatever. I'm not, like, actually angry about it like maybe some Twitter retards are. So, like, personally, I don't mind games copying each other. I've already explained before in, like, another YouTube video, I think, I forget exactly where, but, in my How to Improve Genshin video, actually, that like games copying core ideas from each other like happens all the goddamn time. Like we can make jokes about, oh, these are Chinese games, so of course they're gonna copy each other. But everybody does that all the time, all over the world. You don't have to be Chinese to copy a good idea and like put your own spin on it. That's how games evolve. That's how anything, like a lot of things, evolve just in real life. Somebody comes up with a good idea. And then people take notice and they're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do our own version of it. And then they come up with something better. Hopefully, anyway. Like they put their own spin on it. They put in their own ideas to try to make it better. Obviously, most people just would just settle for just copying something. But there are some individuals out there, some entities out there who eventually will take an idea that works and that's considered good, and then they'll try to make it better, right? So that way they get more people to pay attention to what they're doing, like their product, right? Give people a reason to pay attention to their own product rather than the original one, because they offer a better one at the end of the day. So all these games, right, starting with, like, for example, Genshin clones, and again, I would call Azur Promilia obviously a Genshin clone too, but again, I don't use that term like in a derogatory context. Like, I'm not trying to insult this game by calling it a Genshin clone, because at the end of the day, I believe that Genshin Impact is a great game, and it has extremely high production value. So anything I call a Genshin clone, I kind of expect the same levels of quality as well. And if I'm going to call a game a Genshin clone, it's probably that good too. Or at least I would hope it is. So, and like so far, this game obviously shows signs of that. So, in my opinion, Azur Promilia so far is worthy of the title of Genshin clone, at least from my perspective. And so, yeah, that's why I don't mind, like, the whole idea of, like, games taking ideas from each other and then improving upon it, because that's how you have gacha games or just anything evolve over time. So, yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way first. She's more like Noir. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, she definitely reminds me of Noir a lot. From Hyperdimension Neptunia. Okay, yeah, so we do have some ground mounts here. That's good. So yeah, we'll probably start with like these guys instead of the like flying mounts like dragons first. The God Rays! Ah, my eyes! The God Rays, they're back. Huh. Did, because these are enemies. I mean, they certainly look like that. They certainly look like enemies. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I don't understand Chinese, so I don't know what what this character just said. But I assume that your active character in this game, like, gives you a voice line telling you that you're being tracked, or you've gotten aggro, you've drawn aggro from enemies. That's very cool. Cause I don't know if other Genshin clones do that. Genshin doesn't. All Genshin does when enemies aggro onto you is just plays like an audio cue, like a like that or whatever. I can't replicate it, obviously, but that's all it does. And I don't know if I've ever heard of any other Genshin clone doing the same, right? Where, like, when you enter combat or when you draw aggro from an enemy to initiate a fight, like the game, like your active character gives you some kind of like voice line saying that, oh, we've entered combat, or like we've been spotted by enemies or whatever. So it's cool that Azur Promilia is doing something like that, because that's far more interesting than like either nothing happening at all or like a visual cue or an like a generic bland audio cue. So. Oh, what game is this? This game is called Azur Promilia. A lot of Hoyoverse content creators have reacted to this over last weekend, or over the week. Oh, what was that? That just happened just now. What is this? So it initiates a fight, and then you have a quick time event where if you press F, something happens. I assume she brings in her pal. Yeah. So it's like a coordinated attack with your pal. Okay, that's cool. So not only are they your mount, but they're also your a secondary or maybe even a tertiary battle partner for you. I wonder if you can have multiple like, I don't know what we're gonna call them, so I guess we'll just settle for pals for now. I wonder if you can have multiple pals fighting with you at the same time. Maybe you can only have one. Maybe I'm just maybe this is just hopium. But it would certainly be very cool if you could have multiple pals fighting for you at the same time. But maybe we're just getting maybe I'm just getting ahead of myself here. But still, that's cool that your mount isn't just for, you know, just travel or for exploration. They also assist you in battle too. That's great. This is very Xenoblade like. I've never played any of the Xenoblade games, but that's a good thing then. Most likely just one, yeah. Most likely just one. Kind of hard to believe that they'll allow you to have multiple, like 2 or 3 going at the same time. Because yeah, you already have 3 separate characters on the same team, and they all, I assume they all can equip their own like pal or their own mount. So yeah, probably not likely. Like, what would be very cool is if the game allows you to like if there were like some sort of like ultimate mechanic where like you could have all your characters out and fighting at the same time. But again, that's huge hopium right there. So probably not a thing. It would be amazing if the game could support that. Hey, Rydia, and yeah, I'm doing alright as I can be. Hopefully the same for you too. New gacha game? We assume so, yeah. Made by, this one's by 1/2 of the devs for Azur Lane. It's still in it's still in development, so no word on like official release or whatever. The pet system is a breath of fresh air in gacha games. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point too. It's Pal World, but has gacha. And people already love Pal World, so yeah. I would imagine this game is also gonna pop off pretty hard too, but we'll see. I believe this is the dragon mount, yeah. It's cool that this dragon mount, it looked like the dragon mount could also run too if you just wanted to traverse over land instead of flying. That's a nice touch. I like that a lot. There's egg gathering, confirmed Pal World clone. Yeah, this shit is personally what I like a lot, cause yeah, when you start going over bodies of water here, right? Yeah, here where they start flying over this lake here. This shit is my fucking jam, because I've said this before, but my favorite environment, just my favorite place to just hang out in Genshin is the what was that restaurant tower called? The on the big ass tree. It wasn't Wangming. That's the restaurant in Liyue City itself. But yeah, actually, let me pull up Genshin here real quick, because I have Genshin open, so I can just take a look. Let's see here. What was that restaurant called in the middle of Liyue? Wangshu Inn. Yeah, there we go. So my favorite scenery in Genshin is still to this day Wangshu Inn, when you stand on top of the tree up on its higher floors, because not only does it give you like a panoramic bird's eye view of the entire scenery around you, and especially ever since we got Dragon Spine, so you could see what's going on up on the mountain. Yeah, like there's water everywhere, there's mountains off in the distance, and like you generally have like a 360 view about of everywhere because like, you know, it overlooks like a plane or something. So like, yeah, that place in Genshin is still to this day my favorite place to just hang out, just watch the environment. And so yeah, like my favorite landscapes involve like major bodies of water like this, or you know, not like this, but like bigger bodies of water. Like if you could see like the ocean, or if there's like massive lake systems or whatever. I'm not a geologist, so I don't know these proper terms, or I don't know the proper terms to describe like intricate systems of bodies of water, rivers, for example. Yeah, like that's my frickin' jam right here. So like I hope for this game, just for my own preferences, there's at one point a scene or like a landscape where it's like just sprawling either plains or perhaps even rolling hills that's like dotted with like that has like a major body of water system or something that's kind of like sprawling through it too. Like I think that'd be super sick, just to, like fly through, personally. And yeah, it looks like there's more bodies of water going this way as well. We're stealing eggs. We're stealing eggs. Drago's even got his own like aerial dash mechanic. Yeah, shit like this basically. Yeah. And so far, I really enjoy, even though most of these landscapes we're seeing are just like, you know, your generic forest and shit. I mean, now we're in a snow biome. Even just the standard generic forest biome here, I feel like there's already been like a good diversity of like landscapes and scenery, because like so far here, like obviously you have your grasslands, right? Yeah, your standard grassy like plains or some shit. And then later you're in like a more heavily wooded area where you've got like these random ass giant ass icicles. I guess that's to like indicate to you that you're kind of like at the border region between like forest and like a more like a colder environment, I guess, more to the north. I'm assuming that's the ice biome that I'm talking about. Unfortunately, I think that tree just kind of popped in there. Yeah, because there's no tree there, and it just kind of pops in. Yeah. So maybe they could fix that. Maybe increase draw distance or increased like rendering distance or whatever. And then fast forwarding here a little bit, now you've got like more of this river system. Like even the trees, like even like I'm gonna sound like a tree hugger here, but like even the trees have good variety here too. Like you've got, I assume these are more like bigger redwoods, or some like taller, like more like thick. These trees are thick, bros. Like bigger species of trees here. And here obviously you're running through like, I assume this is like wheat field of some kind. Like even just a couple of scenes of forest biomes that we've seen, there's already a good variety of different scenery where it's like it's similar, but there's enough like subtle differences where at least to me, I don't feel like I'm gonna get bored seeing more like different forest sub-biomes over and over. At least personally. And then of course we've got the ice fields here, or the snow biomes here. And obviously these look good too. Yeah, this is a boss, I assume. Hopefully that gets fixed during development. Yeah, hopefully so. The dodging mechanic here really reminds me of Ether Gazer, actually. Because when it looks like when you successfully dodge an enemy attack, the game slows down and gives you a bit of bullet time. Or well, bullet time, slowdown time, whatever you want to call it. This happens with Ether Gazer, which for those of you guys who don't know what Ether Gazer is, it's another gacha game I play, and it's also made by Azur Lane devs. However, it's a different development studio. So Azur Lane is developed by both Manju and Youngshire. Azur Promilia is specifically made by the Manju devs, one half of the Azur Lane devs working on, well, Azur Lane, of course, obviously. But Ether Gazer is developed by the other half of the devs who work on Azur Lane, and they're called Youngshire, Yong Yongshi, Youngshire. At least I think that's how they're pronounced. And they went off and made their own gacha game. Offshoot gacha game, if you can even call it an offshoot, called Ether Gazer, which came out for global last year. I think it came out a year before that for the Chinese server. And so this dodging mechanic, I feel like Manji just took straight from Ether Gazer. They probably were like, "Hey, yo, can we use your? Can we take one of your? Can we take your dodge mechanic?" Youngshire was like, "Yeah, sure." LOL. So, yeah. This dodge mechanic looks like it's straight from Ether Gazer, to be honest with you. Just with no, what's that called again? Zero time? No zero time mechanic? So, it's a nice touch. Huh. What was that just now? Because your active character commands their this girl, the Yuka girl, right here, she commands her dragon or her pal, whatever it is, to do something, to attack. But then the camera pans to the dragon, so that implies you can control the dragon. Because there was some gameplay before where the active character commanded their pal to attack, right? But the camera didn't pan over to them, and it still attacked. So what's the difference here? I feel like maybe this dragon or this particular pal has like a mechanic where when you tell it to attack, you can briefly control it or something. That's what it tells to me. That's what that kind of implies to me. It's probably you probably don't get to control it like for very long because obviously it pans back to your active character immediately, or not too long after. But that was interesting. I don't know how many people caught that. By the way, your characters have a lot of HP in this game, or the characters have a lot of HP in this game. Actually, let me compare that to the other characters over here. Let's see. So this character, the red-haired girl, the fire girl, has 82,000. And then when they switch characters to a different one, this girl also has 85,000. I think. Yeah. The Yuka girl has 85,000. Yeah, this second girl has, or this third girl, rather, has only 65,000. But it looks like the characters in this game have a boatload of HP. Because, like, in Genshin, if you want to have this much HP, you have to scale with HP specifically. And even then, I think the higher thresholds of HP are only, like, what, like 60,000? Maybe 65,000? So that's interesting, just from a stats perspective. Maybe your devs are true, yeah, true. Maybe probably can't judge it now. But I feel like it's not just the developer server though, because if it were a dev server, they wouldn't show you the UI. Because there are plenty of times where games, including gacha games, like they show you like gameplay. Like for example, the Project Mugen trailer, right? They show you gameplay. Like, we know it's an engine. Like, you can tell it's an engine, but they don't show you the UI. So you don't know, like, how much HP, like, a character has. So the fact that Manju showing you what the UI looks like, so you can see how much HP characters have. You can see what the general layout of your buttons and shit. Like, I don't think this is just a dev server, or I don't think it's just a dev server. Not only that, but this game looks very, very polished. Aside from that one like tree popping in randomly part early in the video, but other than that one bit, this game looks extremely polished. So like, personally, I think there's a good chance that like the game is like basically like 80% done, 85% done. I don't know. That's just kind of my gut feeling here. So, I think the highest you saw in Genjo was like an 80k Zhongli. Yeah, exactly. So, just something interesting that I wanted to point out. And another boss battle. This time against a giant flying crow or something. I have no idea what happened. I have no idea what just happened there. Maybe a special dodge mechanic. This game began development back in 2021, so they've been working on it for 3 years. Yeah, sounds about right. And of course, everyone's favorite part. Hey, look, guys. Our favorite part. Farming. It's possible we'll see it released later this year. I don't think we'll see a full release. I think that's a little bit too ambitious. It's rare for games, even just regular games, to like come out first announce their existence, right, and then come out like the same year or like less than a year later. Maybe a full year later, maybe. But for gacha games, typically when they first when one gets announced, you typically see that's the end of the trailer. You see like what was I going with this? You see them do like promos first, right? Now that last week we've gotten these trailers, right? The announcement trailer and then this 15-minute roll of footage from them. Let me put on another freeze frame here. Or actually, I'll just play through it again as I just yap about this game. But yeah. Anyways, where was I? You typically see gacha games like do promotion, right, to like hype up this game for people, right? And then they do start doing like betas, right? Closed betas, open betas even, and then they come out with the game. So, I don't expect a 2024 release for this game. I think it's more like, at the very least, like middle of 2025. I mean, I would love this game to come out earlier, just from what I'm seeing here. But yeah, I don't expect full release before then. If we're lucky, we'll get, like, for example, like a closed beta by, like, I don't know, third quarter of this year, perhaps. But that's, like, I think best case scenario, unless the game really is that far along production, and it looks like it, to be fair. Like I said, the game looks extremely polished already, minus some hiccups, right? But yeah, man, I feel like this game's gonna go places. Honestly, if there's gonna be a proper competitor to Genshin, it might just be this game instead of WoWa, because WoWa is obviously catering more towards hardcore players, whereas this game has the casual elements to make it pop off really hard. Like, this might actually appeal to casual players. Now that I think about it, it might pull it off. Might. Because it's got cute characters, obviously. It's got a very cute art style overall. And you've got very casual, friendly gameplay elements like, farming. Everybody loves farming. And like you've got the mounts and shit like that where people can just enjoy just flying through the air if that's all they want to do. Because I mean that alone is fucking cool. For tons of people, obviously. And then yeah, and then you've got the whole like Pokemon aspect, right? That'll bring in like the Pokemon nerds, the Pokemon casuals, and for that matter, the Pal World casuals as well. So like, it's got a winning recipe here, I think. This might do it more so than Wuwo now that I've taken a good look at its gameplay, like its trailers and the footage so far. This might actually do it. Obviously it's still like it's still a huge hurdle that they need to overcome, like to be able to tap into the casual market the same way that Genshin did. Most likely it won't happen, but like, bro, if they play their cards right, if Manju plays their cards right, if they do what MiHoYo did back in the day and just market the ever-living shit out of their game and like sponsor everyone to play this, maybe, just maybe there might be a chance. Might be. And man, I hope that, like, now that I've taken a good look at this gameplay, I hope this game pops off, man. Especially because I'm also an Azur lane player too, so shit, man. Problem with this game is that it's waifu only genre. I do concede that it may be a problem, but if this game's gameplay is good enough, then that shouldn't be as big of a barrier as you might expect. Like, because even the ladies will enjoy. I would assume the ladies will enjoy playing this game too. What is it? Thanks to its more casual elements of gameplay, like farming and shit, right? Because like I'm assuming, like plenty of ladies out there, plenty of ladies out there still enjoy Pokemon, and Pokemon's not exactly a husbando game, right? Doesn't Pokemon have more waifus than they do husbandos? You still have plenty of ladies out there enjoy Pokemon regardless. So this game is mostly for males. I mean, on the surface, sure, but again, as long as the game proves itself gameplay-wise, that should become less and less of a barrier over time, I think. Like, when this game comes out, and it does indeed turn out that it has solid gameplay, and it has fun farming, it's got great casual gameplay, then, and people spread the word that, oh yeah, this game's great, it is a great game, not just for its waifus, that shouldn't be as big of a barrier over time. And again, even though there can't be, like, for example, playable guys, I mean, what Manji could do to get around that is just put on a lot of, like, hot guy NPCs, right? I mean, let's take a look at the initial opening trailer again, right? All they would need to do to bait in the ladies, even if they can't actually play them, just add in more ripped guys like this dude as NPCs at the very least that they can talk to, They'll take whatever they can get. So, yeah. I don't think it's as big of an issue as some of you guys in chat are making it out to be, but the gameplay has to be good. So yeah, we have to hope that that's the case. And I have faith that it will be. But again, we'll see for sure when we start getting like closed betas and open betas for this game. Seems like a good casual game. I mean, all gacha games at the end of the day should be. But yeah, especially this one for sure. And not only that, but like we call Genshin Impact a casual game, but to be honest with you, like I guess there's a lot of things to do in the game, but like this game already gives you like right out the gate, like we already see, oh, you can just fly, you can just chill and vibe in this game, just fucking, fly through the air if you want to, if you have access to a flying mount. You can run around, collect pals or Pokemon or whatever these guys are called. You can farm, right? Like those are three big things that Genshin doesn't have. right? Because what's like the casual content in Genshin? Exploration, like the hangout stuff, I think, and then like story quests or whatever, right? And that's pretty much it. Maybe some of the Serenity Pot stuff, I guess. If you're into that sort of thing, if you're like into like building your own, like if you're into like base building and shit. So like 4 things maybe, and Azure, this game has already shown 3 things that Genshin doesn't have, and it could easily support all the things that Genshin already does, right? Story quests, like your own base building shit. I mean, we saw that with that's. I guess that's integrated into like you're like being able to build your own farm, I suppose. Yeah, all the things that Genshin does, like this game could easily do, and it's already showing a ton of other things that you can do casually that you can't do in Genshin. So it's more than just base building because there's like a smelter and stuff. Yeah, and obviously, and I expect it to be more complicated than whatever Genshin has too. Do you know what Manju really excel at here? They can give the Pokemon or like the pals here skins. Oh yeah, I'm sure they could. Yeah, I'm sure they absolutely could. Imagine what co-op would be like in this game. Oh yeah, that's right. That's a good point. Do we know? Has Manju come out and said that? Oh yeah, you can play co-op in this game, or no, not yet. Or is that not confirmed yet? Because yeah, that's a great question. Like how would co-op work in a game like this? I would assume it's gonna work pretty much like Genshin, where like you when you join a when you hook up when you link up for co-op, right? What is it? You're gonna each control, assuming that's 3-player co-op. You're gonna each control your own character and then your own mount pretty much, and you're all gonna be fighting at the same time. So, but yeah, that is a good question actually. Not confirmed, no official statement. Okay, hopefully there is, because if it does have co-op on top of everything else, then yeah, it's an absolutely it's a great recipe for success. But yeah, hopefully it's co-op. I would, admittedly, I would be kind of disappointed if it turns out Azure Promilia is single player only. Would definitely be some wasted potential there, but we'll have to see how it ends up being in the long run, or when it comes out fully. Just imagine if there are like some 5-star pets in the game. Oh, I'm sure there will be. Yeah. Like, it's clear that the dragon pet that we've seen in this gameplay is a higher rarity than like the ground-based mounts. So, yeah, the pets have to have their own rarities for sure. Oh, excuse me. We don't even know whether this game even has like an energy or like a stamina system at all. I mean, let's just go on a limb here. There probably will be, but yeah, we'll have to see how good its energy system is. Cause in Azure Lane has like a non-standard stamina system where if you want to like do battles and quests and shit, you have to spend oil. Cause Azure Lane, yeah, you control ship girls and they drink oil or they consume oil to fight. But technically, Azure Lane doesn't have like a standard stamina system. As long as you have the oil, you can keep fighting. But then again, this game is a little bit different, so I don't know if they're gonna follow like a similar like stamina system, or perhaps more accurately, the lack thereof. Then again, though, this game's literally called Azure Promilia, and in the beginning of at the start of the trailer, right? Don't the subtitles say like we came from the ocean or some shit? So it's like it's an obvious reference to Azure Lane. But then again, just because thematically and aesthetically, it's well, not even aesthetically, thematically, it's similar to Azure Lane doesn't mean I have to copy everything from that game. So I don't know. It's hard to tell right now. We would have to see the actual like more gameplay of the devs actually using energy in this game or stamina. You can see in the UI at certain moments that you have 200 energy. Oh, okay, so yeah, we should have. Then this game does have a standard stamina system. Did you say oil, Mr. 2? Yes, I did. Forget Genshin killer. This will be a Pokemon killer in a weird way. Maybe, actually, yeah. Maybe. We'll see, though. But, eh. I think Pokemon will still do just fine, but like Pokemon getting more competitors will certainly be good for Pokemon, so that way Game Freak and Nintendo can actually go back to making good Pokemon games again, or at least better ones. The Genshin killer is Genshin itself. True, actually true. Game Freak slacked off so hard, other games are outdoing them. Well, to be fair, whether or not Game Freak ends up making good games nowadays is sort of independent of these games coming out. Like, honestly, I feel like Pal World and obviously Azure Promilia would have come out regardless, even if we got like amazing Pokemon games in recent times, to be honest with you. It's just that I think we're just comparing these games, especially the Pokemon these days, because, you know, Pokemon's kind of had like a, you know, their reputation's been kind of on a downhill, on a downwards trend, from, you know, on part of the developers, because, you know, we haven't had a great Pokemon game in a while. So I think people are just comparing these games to Pokemon a lot more, just because people kind of want Pokemon games to be good again. So in the meantime, while Game Freak is still stuck, you know, sniffing their own farts at Nintendo's headquarters, they'll settle for anything else that's Pokemon-like and hopefully also good at the same time, if that makes any sense. So, this game already has pre-register. Ooh, I'll make sure to pre-reg for it after I'm done streaming for today. So yeah. Just joined the stream. What are your first impressions of Azure Promilia? Okay, this will probably be a good way to wrap up my thoughts on this video, because I'm sure I've been reacting to this to Azure Promilia for a very long time now. So yeah, thanks for that, Harold, over on YouTube chat. Okay, so my complete first impressions of Azure Promilia so far are that, just to get this out of the way, I think this game looks very good. Amazing, even, perhaps, if I'm going to go that far. I will tell you straight up, just to be completely transparent here, that I am fairly biased, because the developers of this game, they're named Manji or whatever. Let me just restart the trailer so you guys have something to watch in the background while I go off and yap. The developers for this game, they're called Manju. These guys, along with another development studio called Youngshire, they develop another gacha game called Azur Lane that came out back in like 2017 for the Chinese server and 2018 for their global servers, global and Japanese servers. And I've been playing Azur Lane ever since we got the global server. So I'm a bit of an Azur Lane veteran, if you want to call it that, if you want to call me that. So I know a lot about this development studio, and they're one of the best gacha development studios, one of the most based ones as well, that I know of. Like, these guys are like the business. Like, they know what they're doing. And out of all of the developer studios of the gacha games that I play, these are probably one of the most one of the ones I would trust the most, I would say, to do a good job with, like, whatever games that they work on. So yeah, let me just say that up front. I am biased because I know what they're like, and I'm a big fan of them through Azur Lane, primarily. But even besides that, this game looks amazing, man. It reeks of quality. I mentioned this earlier, but like the vibe of the trailer and like a lot of the parts of the gameplay that they show afterwards, really reminded me of like the first month or so of me playing Genshin back in the day, back in 2020 when Genshin first came out, right? The raw beauty and what is it? The vibes of like of raw of just pure unfiltered exploration in like and like with like beautiful environments and stuff like that. So that's already off to a great start because I consider Genshin to be an extremely good game casually, and you know in regards to exploration stuff. So seeing this game kind of follow in Genshin's footsteps and perhaps even surpass it, we'll see if it does with in due time. But that's already a great sign already, at least for me. And as we watch the gameplay here, the actual gameplay footage, like everything that I've seen so far, like it looks good. This game looks polished. I think somebody in Twitch chat told me that this game's been in development since 2021, so they've been working on this game for quite a while, 3 years, and that's quite a bit of time, and it shows. The gameplay seems solid, like especially when they get into fights. The graphics are, I mean, say what you will about the graphics, they look good enough. I mean, it looks fine. It looks fine for me, so I don't have any major problems with it personally. I enjoy it for what it's worth. So I think they're okay. I think they're good enough. I suppose they could be better, but like, considering that this is a gacha game, most likely a gacha game, which means that it'll probably be on all platforms, mobile, console, PC. I understand that maybe graphics need to take a bit of a hit, so that way all platforms can run it at least. So that doesn't really bother. The graphics as they are right now don't bother me too much. Again, I'm the kind of person who cares more about the actual gameplay itself. As long as the game looks good enough, and it looks more than good enough for me personally, I'm fine with it. But beyond the graphics, obviously it seems like the battle, like the actual combat gameplay looks very fleshed out, and polished. Like it looks like they know what they're doing here. It doesn't look awkward at all. It seemed to flow very seamlessly and stuff like that. So I'm liking the combat footage, or the actual combat gameplay. And beyond the actual fighting part, they also showed off more exploration, more like PAL stuff or Pokemon stuff, and they added farming, just like in PAL World. So everything they shown off, like they look great, man. I'm genuinely struggling to come up with anything bad to say about what we've seen so far. Like there was one instance in this trailer where there was one graphical issue where there was this tree with orange leaves or something that kind of just popped into the foreground as you fly by it. But other than that, I'm assuming that's going to be relatively easy to fix. But other than that, there's nothing else I can say about this game to bring it down. I can't think of anything bad to say about this game, to be honest with you. We'd have to learn more about this game for me to figure out what to criticize about it. But for right now, yeah, this game looks amazing, man. Yeah, I'll say it. This game is amazing. And I'll end my first impression with this, that just based off of what we've seen so far, I've said this before, but this might have the ability to give Genshin a run for its money. People always talk about Genshin killer this, Genshin killer that. This legit might be a potential Genshin killer, more so than Wuthering Waves at least, and definitely more so than, for example, Arknight's Enfield. Because this game has something that Enfield and Wuthering Waves don't have, and that's actual casual gameplay elements, right? Because obviously it's following the footsteps of Genshin, where a big part of this game is going to be about exploring, right? It's obvious that that's the case because of all the scenery and all the beautiful environments that you see so far. And with the inclusion of mounts, right? If they give you, what's the point of giving you mounts if they didn't want you to explore, right? So, and that, and obviously the farming gameplay, because everybody loves farming games. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by what I've seen here. Like, I've seen other content creators, like other Hoyoverse content creators, like Sweetly and Ruby, like take a look at this. I don't know, I don't remember what exactly they thought of it. I'm sure they think this game looks amazing too. But like, yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of the gameplay so far. But now that I've actually taken the time to sit down and watch this myself, yeah, this game looks really, really good so far. Anyway, again, we'll have to see more to get a more complete opinion of it, or for me to make a more complete analysis of how the game actually is. But yeah, hopefully we get like an open beta soon or closed beta at some point later this year. Not expecting one for a while because they just announced this. We just got this announcement footage and whatever, trailer like last week or something. Not even last week. So it'll be a while before we see like a proper closed beta or whatever. But hopefully the sooner the better. So that way we can see how this game really is. And I can see just how much potential this game really has. So, but yeah, so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And I hope this game does well. But again, we'll see for sure in due time. But anyways, that'll be it for my React segment to put up on my YouTube channel. So thanks for watching, everybody over on YouTube, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.